IntellivisionDude here, and this is my little Intellivision controller mod idea. I didn't use my good controllers. I have a couple like brand new mint controllers. They still got the texture on the disc. That's how new they are. Pretty much mint. Only thing I don't like is the complete flat keypad. There's no raised edges on any of these numbers. But it's new and mint, and I would never do anything to harm any of those. This was still a good controller, but it was just one of my spares. So what I did is I took the D-pad from an old aftermarket Sega Genesis controller. I pretty much cut off the bottom because there was a little piece of plastic sticking out. I had to pretty much make sure it was flat all the way across the bottom of it, sand it down, sand the disc, and I glued this on to the disc itself. Not sure if it's going to stay glued. I just used crazy glue. Maybe alright. So this is my new disc. Plus there's less of a chance of your finger slipping off. Plus you can get your finger stuck in a groove and just spin this thing. It's awesome. Now if only I could do something about the side buttons. Now I don't complain about the Intellivision controller, but my hands, I'm getting old. I'm 39 years old, and with all the computer and video game use, my hands are just about had it. I wouldn't be surprised if I had something like arthritis or carpal tunnel. If I played too long, my hands hurt really, really, really bad. So holding this controller like this for too long really hurts my wrists, something fierce. But anyway, I'm going to try to do an interactive video where I'm going to play a game while holding on to the controller at the same time and try to get them both in picture. It may not look good, it may not turn out good, but we're going to attempt it anyway. So I'm going to try that. Okay, let's try this, shall we? Now before I start recording, what I forgot to show you was this is nothing new. I've talked about this before. Some of you already know it. Is that with a Model 2 Intellivision, maybe even a Sears, not sure what else, you can actually use a Genesis controller extender on your Intellivision. Now don't get me wrong, you can't use a Genesis controller on your Intellivision, but you can use a Genesis controller extender on your Genesis. Now unfortunately I already have this focused on the TV, but I had to shave off the ends on each side of the plastic because it was too big to fit in the hole. But after I shaved down just a little bit of the plastic on each side, which doesn't harm it any, you can use this on your Intellivision Model 2, and now you can sit back and relax when you play your games. You don't got to be right up to the Intellivision itself, which is very, very cool. Let's put that back in there. Try to get this right where I had it. I guess right about there. Now, hopefully I can do this without a, Remember, you're focusing on me, not the game. And how silly that sounds, but see how well I can control this. With one arm, just scoofing around. I'm going to try not to use any of the side buttons because they're not necessary. Juke around. Tap, 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 just like a television controller. Let's get this guy down here. And that's that. I think it works pretty good. Whoa, see? Works pretty good with the... And I'm probably blocking half the screen here, but I think you get what I'm doing, what I'm trying to show you here. And I pushed it the wrong way because I didn't go over far enough. But I'm only holding it with one hand, so... If I was to actually be playing, I'd be holding it with two hands, and I'd even have better control over it. So, just for holding it with one hand and just goofing around, I think this is a marvelous idea. Now we're going to try Burger Time, which is just a... hold on. Which is pretty much, you know, straight up, straight down, left and right, up and down kind of game. No fancy... no fancy around in circles. Did I push the card in all the way? Uh-oh. Hold on here. There we go. See, for games going around in circles, this game is great. This controller is great, but I'm trying to see if it's good for just simple straight up and down without any fancy maneuvering. Some controllers do good at that, some don't. A regular Genesis controller normally is not very good at just simple straight up and down, left and right. Well, an NES controller is excellent at it. Maybe if I was concentrating, using two hands, no problems at all. Well, yeah, I think pretty good, pretty good. We're just going to try one more. So far, I recommend this mod. I just don't want anybody to ruin their Intellivision controllers. But all you're doing is just gluing on this to the pad. But I did have to sand down the disc though a little bit. Boy, I'm looking through the view screen and see all the lines. It's all jumpy and stuff. You don't see that on the TV itself. It's my camera, but. This may be my go-to way to play Carol. Christmas Carol. And this game doesn't even require side buttons. Uh-oh. Control's smooth, don't it? Control's great, even with my new mod. Normally I use my Intellivision Model 1 anyway, so I'm not sure how often I'll be using this mod, but I really like it. I probably won't do this to my Intellivision Model 1 controllers, because I can't really replace those, you know, if I change my mind and decide I don't want to use it. With this, I can just change my mind and use a regular, switch out the controllers. No big deal. I like this better than a joystick. Plus it's raised up a little bit. It's almost like you're using a D-pad. I recommend this over the sticklers. Definitely better than the sticklers. Sticklers can go stick it up their ass. That's what I think of the sticklers. Hey. Snowman went right through me. Glitch? Nah. I think I just got lucky. Glitch. Play just... is that game over? Game over. Okay, that's good enough. Yeah, it's not a bad looking mod. I'm sure you don't have to use a Genesis pad. You could probably use anything that fits over top of the disc, that fits on nicely. There's probably tons of generic controller D-pads out there that would fit wonderfully over top of the disc. You could probably even use something like a analog stick that sticks up a little bit. That would probably fit nicely on here. I think attaching something to the disc is actually better than replacing the disc. As long as it's attached well and it's glued on there and not just sitting on top of it. The stickler replaces the disc, and I don't think it replaces it 100% perfectly. The add-ons just snap over place and are not really glued on either, and so it's not the best either. You really need to glue something to the disc. That's the only proper way to do this. No matter if you're gluing a joystick, analog stick, a D-pad of any sort, it really needs to be glued on to the actual disc itself. That's just my personal opinion. So that's the end of this video. So thanks for watching.